Hey everybody, this is Honeychild and you are watching Say More. This is a series I'll be releasing weekly where I get to deep dive in some of the very first recordings and projects that I was involved in as Honeychild. The good, the bad, and the cringe. For me, it's really difficult and also important to be able to reflect back on myself as a creative, listen back to the tracks, hear some of the original stuff that I was putting out when I was young, and in some cases, naive, I'm sure. And thinking about this being a new year, it gives me a chance to listen back to the creative that I was, to then inform the creative that I want to be going forward. So I wanted to do this series. As I said, I wanted to be every Thursday, uploaded to my YouTube channel. So if you're not already connected to me on YouTube, visit the link. You know where links are. And also as a chance to be able to give y'all a little bit of background as to who I am as well. Something I'm also not great at doing a ton of, letting people into myself as a creative. So who is Honeychild? Well, I am a multi-talented, I like to think, versatile artist, instrumentalist, singer, songwriter, producer, arranger. I wear a number of different musical hats. Honeychild is one of those projects where I try to do a little bit of everything and bring in some of my collaborators and loved ones. So it really has been such a joy doing it 5.5 years now, almost 6 years now. And so the very, very first track for Say More, it only felt appropriate for y'all to hear with me the very first recorded project that I put out. Now, this project was really special because there were like 20 plus people on it, and it's called One Day, and it was the 24-hour album led by my homies Sterling Duns and Aqeel Aadam. We were in The Wake, which is a West Philly basement studio. Shout out to Jeremy. And it was just a really wonderful opportunity for so many of us to get together between the hours of like 2 p.m. through the night, 2 p.m. the next day. And it was to challenge ourselves to put something out within 24 hours. Mistakes and everything. So I want to play with y'all. I want to play for you all the track, the very, very first track as Honeychild, where I'm rapping on it. And this track is called Raw. So I'll talk a little bit more about, what the inspiration was, what that process was like as we go on. But I'm going to cue up Raw and we're going to listen to it together. Okay. It's been a minute since I've listened to this. Here we go.
16, so Sheen, I'ma shoot from the hip.
With the life you've been given, can you really say that you're living? Can you really say that you're living on God? Take a breath, take a pause, flip back to the beginning. With the chance you've been given, can you really say that you're winning? Let me hear you say that you're winning. Knocking over hurdles, yeah, you're running. Jumping in the pools, nice win. Hear ye, assassin queen up on the mic. Can you hear me, From the top of all these heights, yeah, I took my time, read between the lines, wrote a couple rhymes, got some advice, lost a couple lives, rest in paradise. And now I'm back with a message, grab a number 2, cause Honeychild is testing. This is a lesson, now here's my blessing. No need for stress and strife, yeah, you gonna reach the end, but you don't have to lose your life.
Yo, oh no, y'all don't want the beast from the snow. Y'all don't.
Okay. Listen, I'm gonna say this every time. I think what I wrote and how I performed it still holds up. So the first few lines you heard were the end of Jeremy Keys, also known as Keys and the Never Before. Shout out to Keys and the Hard Work crew. The end of his verse into the hook that I wrote and performed. I still really, really love that hook. What I remember from doing that, again, this is back in 2018. What I remember from that moment is how much of a tongue twister it was. And I was like, well, I wrote the damn thing. I could always make it simpler. But I was up to the challenge. I think the hook still very much stands. And then my favorite part, I think, of my verse is the hear ye, Assassin Queen up on the mic. Assassin Queen was a nickname that I got when I was part of Hard Work Movement. Shout out to the Hard Work Movement crew. And it was a nickname that I was provided from my 8 bandmates that's kind of just stuck. And you'll have to ask them, why. I have a feeling why. I have a tendency to kind of very silently cut like an assassin, but I guess carry the presence of a queen. So I'm very much flattered by that nickname and that title. So that's, I think, my favorite part of just like jumping into it. What I remember about the writing process, man, I probably still have the notebook that I used. And I remember crossing out so many lines, wanting to get to 16 bars, but feeling like, time was of the essence, so we needed to move on. So I just left it at 8 bars, called it a night, did the hook after that. And then the end of my verse, you hear the beginning of Duns' verse, which is really awesome. Aqeel also has verses on this. I believe it was Aqeel or Duns that did the beat. If I'm wrong, someone will let me know. But that is raw. That is the very first recording as Honeychild. I am really excited about this series. I think, like I said, it's going to be really nice to listen back to my older projects. And, from creative to creative, I'm sure some of y'all understand that pressure to fast forward past certain projects just to get to the next thing, put out the next thing, do the next thing. And this is my moment to just press pause and listen back to some of the stuff that I put out and really have a chance to reflect and also to celebrate. And like I said, a lot of the stuff is going to be very cringe, but mostly this is going to be a learning opportunity, and I'm excited that y'all are joining me on this journey. Stay tuned for more of Say More.